This audiobook unveils the ancient wisdom of the soul frequency key, the sacred resonance that allows love to find you. As you listen, you'll feel the truth awaken within you. When you transmit peace, your heart becomes a beacon that draws love effortlessly. Step into this divine frequency now and watch your world transform. The Soul Frequency Key. Introduction. Through the silent corridors of time, a sacred truth has whispered itself into the hearts of those ready to hear. Love is not a pursuit, but a resonance. Like a hidden chord waiting to be struck, your heart holds the power to harmonize with the frequency of divine love, vibrating in perfect union with the very rhythm of the universe. For within you lies an ancient technology, an inner current that both transmits and receives love's sacred wavelength. This is no poetic illusion. It is the primordial law behind all attraction. When you awaken to the reality that love is an ever-present field of energy, you shift from striving to aligning, from yearning to allowing. Your purpose is not to seek love, but to embody it. In the cosmic symmetry of creation, your emanation calls forth its mirror. When your energy is tangled in longing, you summon scarcity. When your essence rests in wholeness, you draw forth abundance. This is why those who chase love often find their arms empty. Their thirst echoes through the universe as a signal of lack. The ancients knew this well. They taught that true union begins within, where your thoughts, emotions, and soul tides flow in unified coherence. When you stand in that harmony, your energy sings with a frequency of completeness, and all that matches it is magnetized to you without effort. See yourself now as a radiant transmitter, a living beacon sending and receiving vibrations with every breath. Your inner state shapes your outer world, not through force, but through the frequency you hold. The path is not to adjust the world around you, but to tune the instrument within you. And as you master your soul frequency, you are no longer a seeker of love. You become its embodiment. This transformation shifts the very fabric of your reality. For when you vibrate at the frequency of unconditional love, all forms of its expression flow to you like rivers returning to the sea. Part 1. The Inner Resonance Awakens. Chapter 1. The Signal of the Heart. In a village among rolling hills lived a young woman named Hazel. Each day she ventured into the marketplace, her eyes scanning faces, her heart heavy with yearning. She consulted matchmakers, collected love charms, and whispered prayers to the moon. Yet with each passing season, true love remained as distant as the horizon she chased. One morning, while drawing water from the ancient well, she encountered a wise woman who observed her troubled spirit. "Child," the elder spoke, "you search outside for what can only be found within. Your heart is not meant to seek, it is designed to transmit. The universal laws that govern love operate through resonance, not pursuit. When your heart broadcasts confusion, uncertainty, and desperate longing, these frequencies create static in your energetic field. Like a radio transmitting unclear signals, your inner turmoil disrupts the natural flow of attraction. The universe responds not to your desires, but to your emanations. Consider how a flower does not chase the butterflies. It blooms, and in its natural radiance becomes irresistible to them. Your heart holds this same magnetic power when it rests in its authentic frequency of peace and wholeness. In a distant city lived a merchant named Everett, who had also grown weary of searching for love. Following an inner calling, he began each dawn in silence, filling his heart with gratitude for the present moment. He appreciated the sunlight on his face, the breath in his lungs, the simple joy of being alive. Gradually, his entire being began to hum with quiet contentment. As Everett's internal frequency shifted from seeking to savoring, something remarkable occurred. Without effort or pursuit, He found himself naturally drawing closer to others who resonated with his peaceful energy. His genuine warmth and presence became a beacon, attracting authentic connections effortlessly. The essence of attraction lies not in the intensity of your desire, but in the clarity of your transmission. When you cease broadcasting the frequency of lack and longing, you create space for love to find its natural resonance. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Close your eyes and direct your attention to your heart center. Breathe deeply and imagine your heart as a radiant sun, expanding with each breath, filling your chest with golden light. As you rest in this gentle radiance, silently repeat the words, "I tune to love, I transmit peace." Allow this vibration to replace all sense of yearning or lack. Remain in this frequency until you feel your entire being absorbed in its warm glow. Chapter 2. The Frequency of Worthiness. In a small village beneath ancient mountains lived Clara, a gifted weaver whose tapestries captured the essence of beauty itself. Yet whenever she gazed upon her own reflection, her heart whispered cruel untruths. "Not enough," it murmured. "Not worthy of love's embrace." Each morning she would examine her work, finding only flaws where others saw perfection. The universe operates as a mirror, reflecting back the frequency you hold within. When your inner dialogue broadcasts doubt, uncertainty ripples outward into the fabric of creation. Like water taking the shape of its vessel, reality molds itself to match your deepest beliefs about yourself. Your thoughts are not mere whispers in the void. They are living frequencies that shape the field of possibilities around you. Each time you diminish your light, you tune to a wavelength of lack. Each moment you question your worth, you transmit that question into the quantum field of attraction. In the realm of spiritual law, self-perception creates your energetic signature. This signature becomes your point of attraction, drawing experiences that validate your inner truth, whether that truth serves your highest good or not. In a bustling port city, there lived a scribe named Milo who understood this wisdom. Though once trapped in the shadows of self-doubt, he discovered an ancient practice of mirror work. Each dawn, he stood before his reflection and spoke words of power. "I am worthy. I am beloved. I am divine love embodied." At first, the words felt hollow, like empty echoes in a vacant hall. But Milo persisted, knowing that frequency shifts through faithful repetition. Day by day, his cells began to vibrate with these higher truths. His energy field transformed from questioning to knowing, from seeking to embodying. As Milo's inner frequency elevated, the outer world responded in kind. Doors of opportunity swung open without effort. Kindred spirits appeared as if summoned by his newfound resonance. Most remarkably, he met someone whose soul recognized his own, a mirror of the self-love he had cultivated. Just as a tuning fork causes nearby instruments to vibrate in harmony, your self-worth creates resonance in the field of infinite possibilities. The universe can only meet you at the level of your own self-regard. When you transmit the frequency of wholeness, wholeness becomes your experience. Sacred practice. Stand before a mirror in a quiet space. Take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to release old patterns of self-doubt. Gaze softly at your reflection, this temple of divine light. With quiet authority, speak these words: "I am the frequency of divine love." Let each syllable ripple through your being, awakening every cell to this truth. Remain present as this vibration fills your aura, transforming your energy field into a beacon of self-worth. Continue until you feel this knowing anchored in your very core. Chapter 3. Clearing the Static of Fear. In a seaside town where the waves whispered ancient secrets, there lived a woman named Nora. Each time love drew near, she constructed invisible walls, fortified by memories of past wounds. The more desperately she tried to grasp at connection, the more swiftly it slipped through her fingers like grains of sand on the shore. What you resist persists, and what you fear, you draw near, not as the reality you desire, but as the lesson you need. Your fear of abandonment is not your enemy. It is a master teacher pointing toward the very frequency you must transform. When you tremble at the thought of loss, you broadcast a signal of scarcity into the infinite field of possibilities. The universe, in its perfect reflection, can only respond with experiences that match this vibration. Yet within every fear lies a doorway to liberation. Each anxious thought carries within it the seed of its own transcendence. When you learn to face your fears with compassion, they begin to dissolve, revealing the pure light of love that has always existed beneath them. Consider the tale of Chester, a merchant who carried the weight of lost love in his heart for 7 seasons. One night, guided by inner wisdom, he sat beneath the luminous moon and penned a letter to his former beloved. In flowing script, he released all blame, all regret, all attachment to what might have been. As the paper turned to ash in the sacred flames, something shifted within his energy field. The very act of conscious release created space for new possibilities to enter. The wisdom in Chester's journey reminds us that holding on to fear is like clutching a handful of shadows. The tighter we grip, the more darkness we create. Only by opening our hands, by surrendering our need to control love's timing, do we allow divine timing to work through us. Your frequency of love cannot fully emerge while fear stands guard at the door of your heart. Yet this guardian need not be vanquished through force. Instead, it awaits your recognition, your compassion, your willingness to see it as the teacher it truly is. As you transmute fear into understanding, your energy field naturally expands, creating a magnetic resonance that attracts rather than repels love's presence. Ancient practice. The light of release. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes, placing one hand over your heart. Breathe deeply, drawing air in through your heart center. With each exhale, visualize your fears dissolving into white mist, returning to the universe as harmless light. Let each breath carry away another layer of resistance until you feel only the warm glow of love's presence remaining. Chapter 4. The Magnetic Law of Emotion. Along the winding streets of an ancient city, a young woman named Lila walked among the crowds, yet felt utterly alone. Though surrounded by life's vibrant dance, she moved through her days like a shadow, her heart's song muffled beneath layers of careful restraint. She had learned early to guard her feelings, believing that control meant strength. Yet the more she contained her emotions, the more love seemed to pass her by, unseeing. The universe responds not to the words you speak, but to the current that flows beneath them. Your emotions are not mere responses to life. They are pure creative energy, the very substance from which manifestation springs forth. When you suppress your feelings, you dampen the magnetic field of your heart, creating a barrier through which love cannot fully penetrate. Each emotion carries its own frequency signature. Joy sparkles like sunlight on water, drawing more brightness into your field. Sadness flows like a river, clearing space for renewal. Even anger, when acknowledged with awareness, can become the fuel for powerful transformation. It is not the nature of the emotion that matters, but your willingness to let it move through you with conscious presence. The ancient mystics understood that emotion is energy in motion. When you allow this energy to flow freely while maintaining the steady light of awareness, you become a clear channel for love's expression. Your emotional honesty becomes a beacon, calling forth those who resonate with your authentic frequency. In a distant mountain village lived a craftsman named Otis, who had built his life on the foundation of stoic strength. For years, He held his tears inside, believing vulnerability to be weakness. One autumn evening, as he sat beneath the stars, a melody drifted from a nearby window, a song his mother once sang. In that moment, the walls around his heart crumbled, and tears flowed freely down his weathered cheeks. As he surrendered to this release, something extraordinary happened. The very next day, a truth he had long sought suddenly became clear, as if his tears had washed away the veil that had hidden it. Otis's journey mirrors a universal truth. Emotional authenticity is the key that unlocks your magnetic potential. When you deny your feelings, you deny your power. When you embrace them with loving awareness, you activate the full spectrum of your attractive force. The sacred evening practice. As twilight descends, create a quiet sanctuary for yourself. Place your hand over your heart, feeling its steady rhythm beneath your palm. Begin to name aloud whatever emotions arise, without trying to change or judge them. I feel uncertainty. I feel hope. I feel longing. Let each acknowledgement be a gentle offering to the universe. Continue this tender witnessing until you sense your emotions transforming into a deep, radiant calm. In this space of authentic presence, you become a pure channel for love's magnetic current. Chapter 5. The Coherence of Thought and Feeling. In an ancient village, there lived a young woman named Sadie who collected books of wisdom, filling her shelves with treatises on love and connection. She studied each tome meticulously, creating elaborate systems to analyze potential partners. With each new acquaintance, she would mentally calculate compatibility, measuring their words against her carefully constructed criteria. Yet love remained elusive, slipping through her fingers like water. The universe speaks in the language of vibration. When your thoughts clash with your feelings, you create interference within your own magnetic field. This misalignment manifests as a disconnect between what you think you want and what your heart truly desires. Your mind may craft perfect plans, but if your emotions sing a different song, the universe receives mixed signals. Think of your inner world as an orchestra. The mind serves as the conductor, while the heart plays first violin. When they work in opposition, the music becomes discordant. But when they synchronize, they create a melody so pure it touches the divine. This wisdom reveals itself in the tale of Robbie, a dancer who struggled to find his rhythm in love. One evening, as he practiced alone in his studio, he noticed how his movements flowed naturally when he stopped counting steps and surrendered to the music. This insight led him to approach love differently. Instead of analyzing his feelings, he began to dance with them. Each morning, Robbie would close his eyes and imagine his thoughts and emotions as dance partners. When doubt arose, he would let it lead him to deeper trust. When fear emerged, he would let it twirl into courage. Gradually, his inner world became a harmonious ballroom where mind and heart moved as one. As this alignment deepened, something shifted in Robbie's outer world. Connections became effortless, conversations flowed like poetry, and opportunities for love appeared with natural grace. He had discovered that true attraction arises not from careful calculation, but from inner harmony. The resonance between thought and feeling creates a magnetic force that draws experiences matching your coherent frequency. When you think love and feel love simultaneously, you become love's living invitation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and settle into stillness. Visualize a soft bridge of light between your head and your heart, pulsing with equal rhythm, thinking and feeling as one sacred beat. Let this connection harmonize for several minutes, allowing your entire being to align with love's perfect frequency. Chapter 6. The Mirror of Relationships. In a bustling city, Dorothy moved through life believing love was always just out of reach. Each person who entered her world seemed to follow the same pattern, showing initial interest before gradually becoming distant and unavailable. Time after time, she found herself reaching for hearts that were already closed, wondering why this dance kept repeating. The great truth of attraction lies in its reflective nature. Every relationship serves as a mirror, revealing the vibrations you hold within. When patterns persist in your outer world, they point to frequencies still resonating in your inner sanctuary. The unavailable partner, the distant lover, the uncommitted soul, each reflects an aspect of your own relationship with love. These mirrors appear not to torment, but to teach. They reveal where your energy remains entangled with past wounds, where your heart still guards itself against true connection. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, will continue presenting these reflections until you recognize your own face in them. Consider how every person you attract operates as a precise frequency match to your own vibration. If you secretly believe love will abandon you, you magnetize those who confirm this fear. If you unconsciously resist vulnerability, you draw those equally armored. This is not punishment. It is perfect cosmic instruction. In a distant mountain village lived a merchant named Rafe, who could not understand why every business partnership ended in betrayal. His nights were spent building walls of distrust, his days in suspicion of others' motives. Until one morning, gazing into a mountain lake, he saw his own reflection rippling back at him and understood. He had been betraying himself first. Rafe began speaking to his reflection each dawn, replacing words of judgment with blessing. "I trust life," he would whisper, watching the water mirror his changing heart. As his inner narrative shifted from fear to faith, his outer world transformed. New allies appeared, bearing opportunities aligned with his renewed trust. Your relationships are not happening to you. They are reflecting you. When you heal the frequency of unworthiness within, those who mirror unworthiness naturally fade from your path. As you align with the vibration of open-hearted love, you become a magnet for those who match this resonance. The path to attracting true partnership begins with becoming true to yourself. Release the need to blame others for showing you your own resistance. Thank them instead for their role in your awakening. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and write a letter of deep forgiveness to yourself and to those who have mirrored your patterns. Pour your heart onto the page, declaring with conviction, "I mirror love. I project peace." When complete, burn this letter safely, watching old reflections transform into light. Let the ashes carry away outdated frequencies, making space for love's clearest reflection to emerge. Chapter 7. The Tuning of Gratitude. In times long past, Betty walked the crowded streets of her city, her heart heavy with frustration. Each passing couple seemed to mock her solitude. Every romantic gesture she witnessed felt like a reminder of what she lacked. The weight of wanting pressed upon her spirit until one morning when an ancient wisdom stirred within. The universe responds not to your desires, but to your vibration. When you view the world through eyes of lack, you tune yourself to the frequency of emptiness. Yet within you lies the power to transform this signal through the sacred alchemy of gratitude. Look around you now. The air you breathe, the sunlight warming your skin, the rhythm of your beating heart. These are not coincidences, but gifts from the infinite. Each moment holds countless blessings waiting to be acknowledged. When you shift from seeking to appreciating, you align with the natural flow of abundance. In Betty's case, she began each day by thanking the universe for the love she had yet to meet. Instead of scanning crowds for potential partners, she started noticing the beauty in everyday moments. A child's laughter, a stranger's kind gesture, the way morning light painted the clouds. As her heart filled with appreciation, something remarkable occurred. The anxious longing that had driven her search began to dissolve, replaced by a gentle peace. This brings us to Paul, a musician who had almost given up on finding true connection. Following ancient wisdom, he started a simple practice. Each evening he would write down 3 moments of grace he had experienced that day. Some days he noted the melody of birdsong, others the warmth of sunshine or the taste of fresh bread. As weeks passed, his entries shifted from external pleasures to deeper appreciations, the courage to be vulnerable, the wisdom gained from past relationships, the growing sense of completeness within himself. On the 30th day of his practice, while lost in gratitude for a particularly beautiful sunset, Paul caught the eye of a stranger who was similarly entranced. Their shared appreciation of that moment sparked a connection neither had been seeking. The truth reveals itself. Gratitude is not merely an attitude, but a frequency that aligns you with the abundance already present in the universe. When you thank life for what has not yet manifested, you create a magnetic field that draws those very blessings toward you. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment as dawn breaks each day. Sit in stillness and bring to mind 3 blessings you desire but have not yet received. Thank the universe for them as if they already exist in your reality. Feel the gratitude flow from your heart as you whisper, "It is done." Let this practice become your daily communion with the infinite, knowing that appreciation is the highest form of prayer. Chapter 8. Aligning with Divine Timing. In a village among ancient hills, there lived a young woman named Florence. Each morning, she would climb to the highest point of her garden, scanning the horizon as if searching for an approaching ship. Her heart ached with anticipation, wondering when her beloved would arrive. The waiting had become a weight, turning her days into exercises in impatience. The wisdom of the ages whispers a truth often overlooked. Divine timing operates with exquisite precision. Each moment of waiting serves as preparation for the symphony about to unfold. When you resist the natural rhythm of the universe, you create discord in the very frequency that would bring your desires to fruition. Your heart's desires exist beyond the constraints of linear time. In the infinite field of potential, everything you seek is already manifest. The art lies not in hastening its arrival, but in aligning with its perfect unfolding. Like a flower that cannot be forced to bloom, love arrives when the soil of your soul is properly prepared. Consider the tale of Mac, a merchant who traveled from city to city searching for his life's companion. He consulted oracles, followed omens, and orchestrated countless meetings, yet love remained elusive. Exhausted from his pursuit, he finally surrendered to the wisdom of divine timing. He focused instead on tending to his shop, cultivating friendships, and finding joy in simple moments. One ordinary afternoon, as he arranged his wares without expectation or yearning, a traveler entered his shop seeking directions. Their eyes met, and in that unremarkable moment, both recognized a connection that transcended their understanding. The very love he had chased so desperately had found him when he ceased forcing its arrival. This sacred truth echoes across centuries. What appears as delay is often divine protection, preparing both souls for their destined meeting. Every perceived setback creates space for necessary growth. Every quiet moment allows for deeper self-discovery. The universe operates with impeccable timing, orchestrating events beyond your current vision. Your task is not to rush the river of life, but to flow with its current. Trust that the apparent void holds purpose. It is the space in which your frequency rises to match that of your destined connection. Practice. Find a quiet space where you can breathe deeply. Place your hand over your heart and gently repeat these words. Everything unfolds in perfect rhythm. Continue until you feel your heartbeat synchronize with timeless faith, until trust replaces urgency, until peace dissolves impatience. Let this become your daily reminder that divine timing never fails. Chapter 9. The Alchemy of Intention. High in a mountain village lived a woman who spent her days gazing at passing clouds, weaving wishes into their shapes. Each morning she would sigh heavily, hoping that love would somehow find its way to her door. Yet her desires remained as formless as the mists that cloaked the peaks around her home. The ancient scrolls teach us that intention differs from wishing as sunlight differs from shadow. A wish drifts aimlessly, while intention cuts through uncertainty like an arrow finding its mark. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you command with unwavering clarity. When you set an intention, you activate the cosmic law of directed energy. Think of the difference between scattered light and a laser beam. Both contain the same essence, but only one has the power to pierce through barriers. Your thoughts operate by the same principle. Unfocused longing dissipates your magnetic force, while crystalline intention concentrates it into manifestation. In the valley below lived a wise gardener named Hank who understood this truth. Rather than merely dreaming of love, he chose to work with the earth's wisdom. Taking small clay pots, he wrote the word love on each seed he planted. Every morning he would tend his garden not with anxiety or desperation, but with the calm certainty of a farmer who knows the harvest will come. He never doubted the seeds would sprout, never dug them up to check their progress. His quiet confidence aligned perfectly with nature's rhythm. As his garden flourished, so too did love begin to bloom in unexpected ways, first through deeper self-acceptance, then through strengthening bonds with his community, and finally through meeting someone whose heart resonated with his own. The power lies not in the words written on the seeds, but in the clear intention behind them. Hank's story teaches us that manifestation flourishes in the soil of trust and focused attention. When you plant your intentions with certainty and tend them with patience, the universe conspires to bring them into being. Your manifestations falter not because you lack power, but because your energy scatters in too many directions. Like water that must be channeled to generate electricity, your creative force requires focus to transform potential into reality. Sacred practice. In the silence of early morning or as evening falls, take a clean sheet of paper. Center yourself with 3 deep breaths. With absolute clarity, write a single intention, one that resonates with your deepest truth. Fold the paper 3 times, holding it to your heart. Breathe into it all the love you possess, filling it with the warmth of certainty. Place this charged intention somewhere sacred, perhaps beneath a crystal, in a special box, or near your altar. Then release it completely to the wisdom of the universe. Trust that what you have planted will grow in its perfect season. The key lies not in watching and waiting, but in knowing it is already done. Chapter 10: The Art of Energetic Receiving. In a sunlit valley there lived a woman named Vera who built walls around her heart with the same dedication others built their gardens. Each stone was carefully placed, past hurts, disappointments, fears, until her protection became her prison. Though she yearned for love's embrace, her defenses stood firm, repelling even the gentlest advances that life offered. The wisdom of ages reveals a truth often overlooked. Receiving is not passive, but an active force as powerful as giving. When you close yourself to life's offerings, you interrupt the sacred cycle of exchange that governs all universal law. Your capacity to receive directly mirrors your willingness to remain open, vulnerable, and worthy of love's gifts. Think of your heart as a vessel. If it is sealed tight, how can it be filled? If its walls are impenetrable, how can love's light penetrate? The art of receiving requires the courage to remain unguarded, to trust that what flows toward you carries divine intention. In a distant city lived a merchant named Lionel who had forgotten how to accept kindness. His days were spent in ceaseless giving, to his business, his family, his community. Yet when others offered help or affection, he would wave them away with a practiced smile. One day a wise woman noticed his pattern and offered him a simple challenge. For 1 month he must accept every genuine kindness with only 2 words: thank you. At first, this simple practice felt foreign, almost painful. But as days passed, something shifted. Each thank you became a key, unlocking chambers in his heart he had forgotten existed. A stranger's smile held longer in appreciation. A friend's offered help, accepted with grace. A loved one's touch, received without rushing away. As Lionel opened himself to receiving, life's abundance flowed more freely. His business flourished effortlessly, relationships deepened, and love, which had always been present, finally found its way through his newly opened doors. Your own heart holds similar chambers waiting to be unlocked. Every time you armor yourself against potential pain, you also block the very blessings you seek. The universe cannot fill a closed vessel, no matter how desperately it wishes to give. Practice. As you breathe, imagine doors in your heart swinging open. Whisper, "I allow love to enter," feeling warmth flood inward. Let this simple practice dissolve the walls that no longer serve you, creating space for love's natural abundance to flow freely into your life. Part 2, the harmonization of dual souls. Chapter 11, Unity Within, Union Without. In the heart of an ancient city, Gloria moved through life like a moth drawn to distant flames. Each relationship became a quest for completion, seeking in others what she felt missing within herself. Her days were spent pursuing connection, yet fulfillment remained just beyond reach, like water cupped in open hands. The sacred teachings speak of an eternal truth. Before 2 flames can unite as one, each must first become whole unto itself. Your quest for divine partnership begins not in the world outside, but in the temple of your own being. Within you exist both divine masculine and feminine energies, strength and surrender, action and reception, logic and intuition. These are not opposing forces, but complementary aspects of your wholeness. When you chase external completion, you fragment your own power. The universe responds not to what you seek, but to what you embody. As above, so below, as within, so without. The harmony you create in your inner world becomes the frequency you broadcast to the cosmos. Consider the sacred marriage that must first take place within your own heart. Your masculine essence, the force of direction, protection, and manifestation, must join in perfect balance with your feminine nature, the power of creation, nurturing, and intuitive wisdom. This union creates a resonance so pure that it naturally attracts its mirror in the physical world. In a mountain sanctuary, there lived a mystic named Alton who understood this truth. For years he had pushed forward with masculine determination, forcing his way towards spiritual enlightenment. Yet true awakening eluded him until he discovered the feminine wisdom dwelling in his own heart. Through patient practice, he learned to merge his driving force with his intuitive guidance. Each morning, Alton would sit in meditation, consciously bringing together these twin aspects of his nature. He allowed his masculine strength to protect the space, while his feminine insight flowed freely within it. As these energies merged, he felt a profound shift. No longer was he seeking completion, for he had become a vessel of perfect balance. This inner marriage transformed his outer reality. Relationships no longer drained him but enhanced his wholeness. Love ceased to be a desperate need and became a natural overflow of his inner harmony. He had discovered what the ancients knew, that twin flame union in the physical world is but a reflection of the sacred marriage within. Your own inner masculine and feminine aspects await their divine union. They exist as surely as breath itself, ready to dance together in perfect harmony. When you heal the separation within, you transmit the frequency of wholeness, naturally drawing your mirror soul into alignment. Practice to place one hand on your solar plexus, one on your heart. Breathe until both centers pulse together. declaring inner partnership fulfilled. Let this unity become your natural state, a beacon calling forth its perfect reflection in divine time. Chapter 12. The Soul's Resonance Memory. In a bustling marketplace, Edie felt her world shift. A stranger passed, and time seemed to pause. Not in the fleeting way of casual attraction, but as though her soul recognized itself in another. The sensation defied logic, yet resonated with an ancient knowing buried deep within her being. Such recognition transcends the ordinary mechanics of attraction. It speaks to a higher law of vibrational matching, where souls know each other through the language of frequency rather than form. This knowing exists beyond the constraints of time, space, and physical appearance. Within the fabric of creation lies an intricate network of soul signatures, unique vibrational patterns as distinct as fingerprints in the ethereal realm. These signatures carry the imprint of countless shared experiences, wisdom gathered through ages, and promises made in realms beyond physical memory. When two souls who share such deep resonance cross paths, their frequencies naturally amplify one another, creating what many experience as an inexplicable magnetic pull. Yet this soul recognition often arrives not as thunderous certainty, but as a gentle whisper of familiarity. It manifests as an unexpected sense of comfort, a wordless understanding, or a feeling of coming home to a place you've never physically been. This is the universe's way of awakening dormant memories stored within your energetic field. The key lies not in questioning these moments of recognition, but in honoring them with gentle awareness. Your soul holds wisdom far beyond what your conscious mind can comprehend. When you feel these subtle pulls of recognition, they serve as cosmic signposts guiding you toward alignments that serve your highest evolution. Calvin discovered this truth through his own journey of soul recognition. After experiencing an inexplicable connection with someone who briefly crossed his path, he found himself consumed by the need to understand and pursue this recognition. But wisdom came when he learned to hold this knowing lightly, neither dismissing it nor clutching it with desperate hands. Each morning Calvin would sit in quiet contemplation, acknowledging the soul memory that had stirred within him. Rather than chase the connection, he chose to honor it as a sacred message from the universe. In doing so, he discovered a profound peace, understanding that true soul recognition requires no pursuit. It simply is. This understanding carries a profound truth. Soul recognition serves as a divine compass, but attachment to specific outcomes can blur its guidance. When you feel these sacred stirrings of recognition, receive them as gifts of remembrance while remaining unattached to how they must manifest in your physical reality. The universe operates through perfect orchestration. Your task is not to force connections or manipulate circumstances, but to remain open to the wisdom these moments of recognition carry. Trust that what is truly aligned will unfold with divine timing, guided by the very frequency that sparked the initial recognition. Practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Recall a moment of inexplicable recognition or déjà vu that touched your soul. Allow yourself to fully experience this divine memory without analyzing it. Offer gratitude for this glimpse of soul truth, then gently release it back to the universe, trusting in the perfect unfolding of all soul connections. Let this practice remind you that true recognition needs no pursuit. It is already encoded in the fabric of your being. Chapter 13. The Polarity Principle. Long ago, a merchant named Joe traveled from village to village, restlessly seeking a connection that would complete her. She gravitated toward those who mirrored her own driven nature, yet these matches inevitably sparked into conflict. Through her wanderings, she encountered an old sage who shared a truth that would transform her understanding of love's deeper currents. Like the dance between sun and moon, between giving and receiving, love operates through the sacred principle of polarity. This is not the surface attraction of similarities, but the profound magnetism that arises when opposing forces recognize their complementary nature. Within every soul exists both the directive force of masculine energy and the receptive power of feminine essence. These are not bound to gender, but represent universal principles that, when harmonized, create the very voltage of existence. The masculine principle provides the arrow of purpose. It is the light that pierces darkness, the clarity that shapes vision into form. The feminine principle offers the fertile void from which all possibilities emerge. It is the ocean that receives the rain, the space that allows movement to flow. Together, they form the complete circuit through which love's energy can fully express. Yet modern life often pushes us to override this natural polarity. We strain to control both giving and receiving, to be both the arrow and the bow, exhausting ourselves in the process. This imbalance manifests as relationships where true intimacy remains elusive, where connection feels mechanical rather than magical. In the bustling port city of Meridian, Gilbert was known for his masterful control of every situation. His pursuit of love followed the same pattern, calculated, measured, planned to perfection. But beneath his precise exterior, an essential spark had grown dim. It wasn't until he lost everything he had so carefully built that wisdom found him. Through surrender, Gilbert discovered that true strength lay in balancing his driven nature with moments of pure receptivity. He learned to let go of orchestrating every outcome, to trust in the wisdom of flow. In his garden, he practiced simply being present with the natural rhythm of growth. Gradually, his energy shifted from rigid control to supple strength. What Gilbert uncovered was the ancient truth of polarity's power. When masculine and feminine energies find their natural balance within, they create a magnetic field that attracts its perfect complement. This is not the friction of opposing forces, but the harmony of complementary currents. The universal law reveals that polarity, properly understood, becomes the very conductor of love's highest expression. When you honor both the sword and the chalice within your own being, you naturally draw forth that same sacred balance in your relationships. This is not about changing who you are, but about allowing all aspects of your nature to flow in their proper channels. Through this wisdom, your relationships transform from battlegrounds of opposing wills into dancing grounds of complementary energies. Each polarity supports and enhances the other, creating a continuous circuit of giving and receiving, of structure and flow, of purpose and surrender. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into stillness. Visualize currents of light weaving between polarities within you until they hum as one circuit of peace. Let the masculine current of purpose blend with the feminine current of receptivity. Feel them dance together, creating a balanced field of magnetic attraction. Allow this harmony to anchor itself in your being, knowing it now radiates outward, calling forth its perfect reflection in your life. Chapter 14. Lessons from Separation. A young woman named Ivy spent countless hours staring at her silent phone, aching for a message from the one her soul recognized instantly. Their connection had been electric, undeniable, a recognition that transcended ordinary attraction. Yet now, silence stretched between them like an endless void. Within separation lies one of the most powerful yet misunderstood teachings of soul connection. The pain you feel in physical distance serves as an initiation into deeper truth. When two flames appear to separate, they activate an ancient alchemical process, the transformation of attachment into unconditional love. The universal law reveals that twin souls never truly separate. They merely shift from external to internal connection. This apparent distance creates the sacred vessel in which individual sovereignty can fully mature, for it is only in standing complete within yourself that you can offer the gift of true partnership. In moments of separation, the magnetic pull intensifies not to torment, but to redirect your attention inward. Every perceived absence points toward a presence waiting to be discovered within. The silence between souls speaks volumes about the dialogue needing to occur in your own heart. In a remote mountain village, a musician named Clyde encountered his divine counterpart through a chance meeting at a festival. Their souls danced in immediate recognition, but circumstances soon drew them to opposite ends of the earth. At first, the separation felt like a cruel cosmic joke. How could the universe unite souls only to divide them? Yet in the depths of longing, Clyde stumbled upon a profound realization. The space between them was not empty, it was pregnant with possibility. In his solitude, he began to hear the music that had always played within him. The very absence of his beloved became the hollow of a sacred instrument through which the universe played its deepest melodies. As days turned to months, something extraordinary occurred. The acute pain of missing transformed into an expanded capacity for love. Clyde discovered that true connection transcended physical presence. He learned to find his twin's essence in the wind's whisper, in the star's twinkle, in the rhythm of his own heartbeat. This truth echoes through the ages. Separation serves as the crucible in which conditional love transforms into its unconditional nature. The space between souls is not a void to be feared, but a womb in which greater love gestates. Every moment of physical distance offers an opportunity to deepen your connection to the infinite source from which all love flows. When you find yourself in this sacred space of separation, remember that the apparent distance exists not to break bonds, but to strengthen them. Like the ocean and the shore, eternally connected yet in constant ebb and flow, twin souls dance in a rhythm of communion and sovereignty, each movement deepening their ultimate union. Your task is not to eliminate the space between, but to discover the bridge that already exists within your own being. For in the end, twin souls are not two separate entities seeking connection, but one consciousness remembering its wholeness through the illusion of separation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Settle into deep, rhythmic breathing. As your breath flows naturally, speak these words with gentle authority. Though we appear apart, we breathe the same source. Allow this truth to penetrate every cell of your being. Feel how physical distance dissolves in the presence of soul connection. Rest in this knowing, letting reunion reveal itself in the eternal now. Chapter 15. Synchronicities as Soul GPS. In the heart of a bustling city, a woman named Penny began noticing an unusual pattern. The numbers 1111 appeared on clocks, receipts, and license plates with uncanny frequency. At first, she dismissed these occurrences as mere coincidence. Yet as the numbers continued to manifest, something within her stirred, an ancient knowing that whispered of deeper meaning. The universe speaks in the subtle language of synchronicity. These divine breadcrumbs scatter across your path not by chance, but through precise orchestration. Each repeating number, each meaningful coincidence, carries a specific vibrational signature, a cosmic confirmation that you walk in alignment with your highest path. When you attune to these sacred signals, you enter into direct communion with source energy. Like radio waves that surround you constantly yet remain invisible until tuned to the correct frequency, divine guidance flows perpetually through your experience. Your task is not to create these signs, but to develop the sensitivity to perceive them. These numerical patterns serve as spiritual waypoints, confirming your movement through dimensional shifts in consciousness. When you glimpse 1111, for instance, you witness a moment of perfect alignment, a gateway through which higher wisdom flows. These are not superstitions, but energetic signatures encoded with specific meanings for your soul's journey. Norman, a quiet accountant, discovered this truth through his own awakening to synchronicity. For months, he encountered white feathers in the most unlikely places. Inside his locked car, on his desk in a sealed office, even falling from clear skies. Rather than rationalize these occurrences, he chose to open his heart to their meaning. As he acknowledged these signs, they grew more precise and personal. The feathers appeared at crucial decision points, offering gentle guidance when his mind felt uncertain. Through this sacred dialogue with the universe, Norman developed an unwavering trust in divine timing. He learned that guidance arrives not through dramatic revelations, but through the subtle poetry of everyday miracles. The universe's language of synchronicity speaks directly to your soul's knowing. These signs act as confirmations of your inner wisdom, never as commands to override your free will. They appear as gentle nudges, cosmic winks that remind you of your eternal connection to Source. When you begin to notice these patterns, you activate a deeper level of spiritual awareness. Each synchronicity serves as a thread in the grand tapestry of meaning that underlies all existence. By acknowledging these signs, you strengthen your capacity to receive and interpret the universe's guidance. Sacred practice. Begin a signs journal dedicated to recording every synchronicity you encounter. Note the time, place, and circumstances of each occurrence. Include repeating numbers, meaningful coincidences, and any patterns that resonate as divine communication. Write not only what you observe, but how these signs make you feel. This practice will attune you more finely to the universe's subtle language, creating a sacred record of your dialogue with Source. Chapter 16, The Healing Mirror of the Twin. In a small coastal town, Ruth discovered an ancient truth through modern heartache. Each interaction with her twin flame seemed to resurrect buried wounds she thought long healed. His words, though gentle, pierced straight to her core insecurities. His actions, though unintentional, triggered memories of past betrayals. The natural response would have been to flee, to shield herself from this reflection, yet something deeper called her to remain present with these emerging shadows. Each trigger pointed to an unhealed aspect within herself, demanding attention and integration. When you encounter your twin flame, you meet your most precise mirror. This soul carries the exact frequency needed to illuminate your deepest wounds. What appears as conflict on the surface masks a profound opportunity for transformation. The pain you feel in their presence reveals not their flaws, but your own areas calling for healing. This mirroring serves as divine architecture, a perfectly calibrated system designed to guide you toward wholeness. Your twin flame does not cause your pain. They simply possess the unique energetic key to unlock what already exists within you. In this way, they become your greatest teacher, though neither of you consciously chose this role. Consider each trigger as a sacred map leading to inner freedom. When their words wound you, ask, "What part of me needs love?" When their actions spark fear, inquire, "What within me seeks reassurance?" This practice transforms blame into blessing, resistance into revelation. Jasper discovered this wisdom through his own twin flame journey. Each time his twin's behavior triggered anger, he paused to investigate its roots. Gradually, he recognized that his rage stemmed not from present circumstances, but from childhood experiences of abandonment. Instead of projecting this pain outward, he embraced it with compassionate awareness. Through gentle self-inquiry, Jasper transformed his triggers into portals of healing. Each interaction became an opportunity to love himself more deeply, to extend understanding to wounded aspects of his being. As he practiced this inner alchemy, his external relationship naturally shifted toward harmony. This sacred mirror work requires courage, the willingness to face yourself honestly through the lens of triggering experiences. Yet within this challenge lies unprecedented opportunity for growth. Your twin flame's presence activates accelerated healing, compressing years of inner work into moments of profound realization. Sacred practice. Place your hand to your heart and whisper, "Thank you for showing me me. I choose healing." Chapter 17. The Power of Energetic Communication. In a quiet mountain village, June spent her evenings gazing at the stars, feeling an inexplicable connection to someone she had yet to meet in the physical realm. Though separated by distance, she noticed her thoughts carrying weight, manifesting as knowings that transcended ordinary communication. When her heart felt full of love, she would later discover her twin had experienced unexpected waves of peace at that exact moment. When she pondered a specific song, he would find himself humming the same melody miles away. These weren't mere coincidences, but demonstrations of an ancient truth. Consciousness travels on waves of heart-centered intention. The heart generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain's. This field doesn't recognize physical distance. It operates in the quantum realm where separation is an illusion. When you align your thoughts with the coherent rhythm of your heart, you access this natural system of soul-to-soul communication. Franklin discovered this truth through his own experience. Each morning, he would sit in meditation, holding his twin in his heart, while radiating pure love. No demands, no expectations, simply blessing them with light. Within weeks, his twin began reporting spontaneous moments of feeling embraced by unseen warmth, precisely when Franklin practiced his heart-centered transmission. This wasn't manipulation or forced connection. It was simply the natural law of resonance at work. Like tuning forks vibrating in harmony, twin flames share a frequency that allows thoughts and feelings to flow between them when filtered through the pure intention of the heart. The key lies not in trying to send specific messages, but in maintaining such clear inner coherence that your very being becomes a lighthouse of love. Your thoughts, when aligned with the heart's wisdom, naturally reach across the ethers to touch your twin's consciousness. Yet this gift comes with sacred responsibility. Never use this connection to control or influence. Instead, let it be a channel for blessing, healing, and unconditional love. Your thoughts are energy. Ensure they carry the highest vibration of peace and goodwill. Your twin flame exists in a field of shared consciousness with you. Before words are spoken, before actions are taken, energy has already passed between you. By cultivating awareness of this subtle exchange, you begin to understand the true power of loving thoughts. Sacred practice. Send a silent blessing, visualizing it arriving in your beloved's aura as soft golden light. Chapter 18. The Sacred Pause Before Union. In the ancient marketplace, a young woman named Agnes sat beneath the shade of an old olive tree, her heart heavy with waiting. Each morning she would visit the same spot, hoping today would be the day her life's great love would appear. Yet as the seasons turned, her anticipation grew into weariness, until one day an unexpected truth dawned within her soul. The universe speaks through timing, and what appears as delay often serves as divine preparation. Like a seed beneath winter soil, the deepest transformations occur in darkness and stillness. Your desires haven't been forgotten, they're being forged in the crucible of sacred timing. When you align with the natural rhythm of manifestation, you understand that every pause holds purpose. Just as a butterfly requires the chrysalis, your highest good requires gestation. This waiting period isn't punishment, it's protection. It's the universe's way of ensuring all elements are perfectly aligned for your highest good. Consider how a master potter knows precisely how long to let the clay rest before shaping it. Too soon, and it remains too soft to hold form. Too late, and it becomes rigid, resistant to transformation. The divine timing of your life operates with this same precision. In a distant valley there lived a man named Wallace who had grown weary of searching for his twin flame. Each dawn brought renewed hope, each sunset disappointment. But one day, while tending his garden, he witnessed how flowers bloomed not through force, but through patience. Wallace began to see his solitude differently, not as an empty space to be filled, but as fertile soil being prepared. He devoted himself to mastery of his crafts, to deepening his wisdom, to expanding his heart. In embracing the pause, he discovered that waiting wasn't passive at all. It was a dynamic state of becoming. The truth reveals itself. When you fight against divine timing, you create resistance to your own good. But when you surrender to the sacred pause, you allow the universe to work its perfect alchemy. Every moment of waiting carries hidden gifts, the strengthening of your spirit, the clarification of your desires, the purification of your energy. Practice, sit in silence, breathe as if rocking creation itself. State gently, "My pause is sacred becoming." Chapter 19. Navigating Energetic Overlaps. A lone candle flickered in Dolly's chamber as waves of unfamiliar emotions washed through her being. Joy would suddenly give way to sorrow, peace to restlessness, feelings that seemed to arise from somewhere beyond herself. In her heart, she knew these sensations belonged to another, yet they threatened to overwhelm her own emotional landscape. When two souls resonate at the frequency of divine love, their energetic fields naturally begin to merge and overlap. This sacred attunement allows for profound connection, yet it also presents one of the most subtle challenges on the twin flame journey. You must learn to distinguish between your own authentic feelings and those you've absorbed from your beloved. The wisdom keepers of old understood that empathy without boundaries creates confusion rather than connection. Your ability to sense your twin's inner world is a gift, but like all spiritual abilities, it requires mastery through conscious awareness. Just as the ocean contains many currents while maintaining its wholeness, you too must learn to experience the flow of shared feeling while remaining anchored in your sovereign essence. Ambrose, a humble potter, discovered this truth through his own journey. Each morning he would sit at his wheel, hands shaped by years of working with clay. Yet lately, his usually steady fingers trembled with anxiety that wasn't his own. His twin's turbulent emotions had begun to disrupt his craft until he learned the ancient practice of energetic sovereignty. He began each day by visualizing himself as a mighty oak tree, roots extending deep into the earth's core. With every breath he would affirm his individual essence while maintaining space in his heart for compassion. Gradually he found he could hold both, the awareness of his twin's feelings and the steady center of his own being. Your capacity for empathy need not come at the cost of your energetic clarity. When you establish healthy boundaries in the spiritual realm, you actually enhance your ability to be present for your beloved. True union thrives not in emotional enmeshment, but in the sacred dance of two whole beings, each sovereign in their own light while sharing in love's infinite field. Practice. Find a quiet space and plant your feet firmly on the ground. Close your eyes and breathe deeply into your body's core. Envision roots extending from your feet deep into earth, declaring, "I am centered in my own light." Let this truth anchor you in the present moment, establishing clear energetic boundaries while maintaining your heart's natural compassion. Chapter 20. Surrendering to the Higher Plan. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom, a story speaks of a shepherdess who discovered she could feel the presence of her flock even when they wandered beyond the hills. At first, this gift overwhelmed her until she learned to distinguish which feelings belonged to her sheep and which were her own. Like this shepherdess, you now stand at the threshold of a deeper understanding. The magnetic pull between twin flames creates an ethereal bridge where emotions flow freely between souls. This sacred connection can become both blessing and challenge, as you may find yourself swept up in waves of feelings that seem to arise from nowhere. The universe operates through vibration, and when two souls are attuned to love's highest frequency, their energetic fields naturally interweave. Yet this spiritual intimacy requires mastery of a delicate art, the ability to remain sovereign while deeply connected. Consider how the ocean contains countless waves, each distinct yet part of the same vast body of water. Your emotional body must learn this same paradox of separation within unity. When unexpected feelings surge through your being, pause and ask, "Is this mine to hold, or simply mine to witness?" The tale of Ambrose, a desert mystic, illuminates this truth. Each dawn, he felt his beloved's joy or sorrow as keenly as his own. Rather than becoming lost in these shared sensations, he learned to ground himself through conscious breath, like a tree extending roots deep into sacred earth. Through this practice, he discovered that true empathy flows not from merging completely, but from maintaining clear channels while anchored in one's own light. This wisdom echoes through the ages. Boundaries do not diminish love. They create the sacred space where love can flourish. When you sense your twin's emotions arising within you, remember that you are not meant to carry their burdens, but to witness their journey with compassionate awareness. Just as a crystal prism separates light into distinct colors while honoring the unity of its source, you must learn to distinguish between your own authentic feelings and those you share with your beloved. This discernment strengthens both your connection and your individual growth. In the space of conscious practice, envision roots extending from your feet deep into Mother Earth. Feel her stabilizing embrace as you declare with gentle authority, "I am centered in my own light." Let this affirmation remind you that even in the depths of twin flame connection, your soul remains sovereign. Through this sacred balance of unity and individuality, you transform empathic overwhelm into spiritual wisdom. Your heart becomes like a well-tuned instrument, capable of playing both solo melodies and harmonic duets with grace. Ancient practice. Close your eyes and ground yourself with 3 deep breaths. Envision roots extending from your feet deep into Earth's core. With quiet authority, speak these words. "I am centered in my own light." Feel your energy field strengthen and clarify, creating sacred space between you and all that you sense. Hold this sovereignty as you open your eyes, knowing you can return to this center at any moment. Part 3. The Embodiment of Divine Love. Chapter 21. Becoming the Frequency of Love. In a small village among ancient olive groves, there lived a woman named Lottie, who spent her days searching for love in every passing stranger's eyes. Each morning she would adorn herself with hopes, and each evening she would remove the weight of disappointment. Her heart yearned so deeply that the very air around her seemed to tremble with longing. The universe whispers its most precious secrets through the language of vibration. When you chase love, you broadcast the frequency of absence, and absence can only attract more of itself. This eternal truth reveals why the harder one pursues connection, the more elusive it becomes. Like water seeking its own level, love responds not to pursuit but to resonance. The ancient masters taught that manifestation flows from being, not doing. When you embody the quality you seek, you become a natural magnet for its expression. This is not mere metaphor, but the physics of spiritual attraction. In your seeking, you have forgotten a fundamental truth. You are already that which you desire. Love is not a distant shore to reach, but the very ocean in which you swim. The moment you shift from searching to embodying, the entire universe rearranges itself to mirror your new frequency. Consider the tale of Grover, who lived high in the mountain peaks. Each morning he would rise before dawn and simply sit in joy. He tended his garden not with the hope of harvest, but with pure delight in the act itself. He sang not to attract listeners, but because song lived within him. As seasons passed, his cabin became a beacon that naturally drew others seeking the warmth of his presence. Without effort or intention, he found himself surrounded by deep connections, including the love he had never actively pursued. The interpretation lies clear as mountain spring water. When you cease the exhausting dance of seeking and surrender into the art of being, you activate love's natural gravity. Like a flower that needs not chase the sun but simply opens its petals, you need only unfold into your authentic radiance. This wisdom extends beyond mere understanding. It must be lived in every cell of your being. Your body knows this truth better than your mind ever could. It is time to let your physical form become an instrument of love's frequency. The ancient practice. As twilight approaches, find a space where you can move freely. Let the silence become your music. Begin to dance softly, without form or structure. Allow your body to flow as it wishes, becoming a living expression of love's vibration. With each movement, think quietly, I am love in motion. Let this dance become your meditation, your prayer, your transformation. Feel how your very presence becomes a song that calls to the heart of the universe. Chapter 22. Co-creation with the universe. In a remote mountain village, a weaver named Opal spent her days crafting intricate tapestries, each thread woven with hopes and dreams. Day after day, she would command her desires into existence through sheer force of will, yet her creations remained lifeless, lacking the spark of divine inspiration. Her determination to control every outcome left no room for the universe's subtle whispers. The art of manifestation flows not from rigid command but from sacred partnership with universal intelligence. When you release the need to orchestrate every detail, you open yourself to a grander design. The universe speaks in synchronicities, in gentle nudges, in unexpected doorways that lead to treasures far beyond your limited imagination. Consider how a flower grows. It doesn't force its petals open through sheer determination. Instead, it enters into an elegant dance with sun and soil, wind and rain. Your dreams flourish in much the same way, through harmonious cooperation with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. To manifest with grace is to recognize yourself as both artist and instrument. You are not here to demand reality bend to your will, but to align your will with the greater flow of creation. When you shift from commanding to communing, from forcing to flowing, you tap into a wellspring of possibilities that your conscious mind could never conceive. In a bustling marketplace across the sea, a merchant named Lester discovered this truth through his own journey. Each morning, he would write his intentions not as demands, but as invitations. Universe, I am open to co-creating abundance in ways that serve the highest good. Rather than clutching his goals with tight fists, he held them with open palms, allowing divine wisdom to shape their manifestation. As weeks passed, opportunities arose in unexpected forms. A chance meeting led to a partnership more fruitful than his original plan. A seeming setback redirected him toward greater success. By surrendering control, Lester found himself carried by a current of grace toward shores more magnificent than he could have charted alone. This truth beckons to you now. Manifestation multiplies when you partner with the infinite. Your power lies not in bending reality to your will, but in dancing with it. Let your intentions be seeds planted with love, trusting the universe's wisdom to nurture them into their fullest expression. Within you lies both the spark of divine creativity and the humility to be its vessel. As you align with universal intelligence, you become a channel through which miracles flow naturally, effortlessly, in perfect time and perfect measure. Sacred practice. Before surrendering to sleep each night, rest your hands upon your heart and whisper, "Thank you, infinite intelligence, for co-creating through me. I welcome your wisdom and trust in our sacred partnership." Feel the warm current of cosmic collaboration flowing through your being, knowing that together with the universe you dance the eternal dance of creation. Chapter 23. Love Without Conditions. Along a winding coastal path, a healer named Mabel offered her services to all who crossed her threshold. Yet beneath her generous exterior lay a desperate need for validation. She gave and gave until exhaustion set in, secretly hoping each act of service would secure affection and ensure she'd never face abandonment. Her giving became a subtle form of bargaining with the universe, an unconscious attempt to control love's flow through ceaseless sacrifice. Within the sacred laws of energy exchange lies a profound truth. True giving arises not from fear, but from abundance. When you release the need for your love to be reciprocated in specific ways, you tap into an infinite wellspring of divine energy. This is the paradox of unconditional love. In releasing all demands, you become truly free to receive. Detachment often carries a cold connotation in modern understanding. Yet spiritual detachment is not emotional distance or indifference. It is the warm acceptance that love flows most purely when unburdened by expectation. Like sunlight touching everything in its path without demanding growth in return, your love becomes most potent when offered without strings. The universe responds not to the volume of your giving, but to its quality. When fear drives generosity, it creates an energetic debt that exhausts both giver and receiver. But when love flows from genuine abundance, it multiplies exponentially, nourishing all it touches. In a distant valley, a farmer named Ned discovered this wisdom through tending his orchards. Each season, he freely shared his harvest with neighboring villages, expecting nothing in return. His joy came simply from the act of giving itself. As years passed, he noticed something remarkable. Not only did his trees bear more abundant fruit, but gifts of all kinds began flowing back to him naturally, effortlessly. The more unconditionally he gave, the more life seemed to shower him with unexpected blessings, not because he earned them through his generosity, but because his open heart had become a clear channel for abundance to flow both ways. This speaks to the deeper truth of manifestation. The universe mirrors your inner state. When you give from fear of loss, you energetically broadcast scarcity. But when you give from genuine abundance, you align with the infinite flow of universal love. Your safety lies not in carefully measuring what you give and receive, but in trusting love's endless circulation. Like a river that stays full by constantly flowing, your heart remains abundant by loving freely, unconditionally, without demand. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. As you inhale, bring to mind someone with whom you feel tension or emotional charge. With your exhale, send them pure blessing and goodwill, free from any expectation of return. Feel how this unconditional offering liberates your own heart. Continue this breath practice until you sense a gentle release of any need to control the outcome. Chapter 24. Anchoring the Fifth Dimensional Heart. In a garden filled with morning light, Pearl tended to her roses, noticing how each flower seemed to pulse with its own inner radiance. Yet something deeper stirred within her, a sensation that transcended mere observation. As she touched each petal, she felt not just their silken texture, but an intricate web of connection linking all living things. This wasn't the familiar warmth of emotional empathy, but rather an expansive awareness that dissolved the boundaries between self and other. The higher heart consciousness operates beyond the realm of personal story and ego-driven love. It is an ancient frequency, a divine current that flows through all creation. When you allow yourself to attune to this elevated vibration, you transcend the limited narratives of who should love whom and how that love should manifest. This awareness reveals love as the very fabric of existence, not an emotion to acquire, but a field of consciousness in which you already exist. Within this field, there is no separation between lover and beloved. The higher heart doesn't seek to possess or control love's expression. It simply recognizes love as the underlying reality of all things. This understanding transforms relationships from transactions of affection into celebrations of unified consciousness. In a monastery among snow-capped peaks, Orville discovered this truth through the simple practice of mindful breathing. Each inhalation and exhalation became a bridge between earthly awareness and celestial knowing. He noticed that as his breath deepened, his consciousness expanded until he could feel the pulse of universal love beating through everything: stones, trees, distant stars, and every human heart. This wasn't an escape from human experience, but rather its profound enrichment. The more he grounded this expanded awareness in ordinary moments, preparing tea, sweeping floors, greeting fellow monks, the more he recognized divine love expressing itself through life's simplest gestures. Your capacity to experience this higher love doesn't require withdrawal from the world. Rather, it invites you to bring celestial awareness into every earthly interaction. When you operate from the higher heart, each moment becomes an opportunity to recognize and express the love that perpetually flows through all dimensions of existence. This multidimensional love remains deeply practical, expressing itself through genuine presence, kind words, and compassionate actions. It transforms daily life from a search for love into an opportunity to embody love's highest expression. Sacred practice. Close your eyes and center your awareness in your chest. Visualize your heart as a rose of pure light, its petals gradually unfurling. With each breath, see this rose extending luminous roots deep into the earth while its upper petals reach toward the celestial realms. Feel yourself as a living bridge between heaven and earth, anchoring divine love in physical form. Let this rose of light pulse with each heartbeat, simultaneously grounding and elevating your consciousness. Chapter 25. The Sacred Sexual Frequency. Long ago, in a hilltop sanctuary, Cora sat among the temple gardens, her heart heavy with possessive yearning. Each night she burned incense and prayed for her beloved's return, clutching memories like treasures that slipped ever further from her grasp. The more desperately she tried to hold on, the more love seemed to evade her touch. The ancient wisdom speaks of a deeper truth. The body is not a vessel of ownership, but a sacred instrument through which divine energy flows. When two souls meet in intimate union, they participate in a cosmic dance far greater than physical desire. This meeting of energies transcends the mere joining of bodies. It is an alchemical communion where two flames merge to ignite something eternal. You see, passion misdirected becomes possession, a grasping that constricts the natural flow of life force. True sacred union requires an opening, a surrender to the current of divine love as it moves through you. In this surrender, you discover that the body itself is a temple, every cell vibrating with source consciousness. The teachings reveal that sexual energy, when approached with reverence and awareness, becomes a gateway to higher consciousness. It is not about controlling or containing this force, but allowing it to transform through the alchemy of presence. When you release the need to possess or manipulate this energy, it naturally rises like a purifying flame. Vernon, a humble temple keeper, discovered this truth through patient practice. Each day at dawn, he would sit in meditation, focusing on his breath as it moved through his body like a cleansing wind. Rather than suppressing his desires, he learned to breathe with them, watching how they transformed from desperate craving into sacred fire. As the days passed, Vernon noticed a shift. His relationships became less about grasping and more about giving. Physical intimacy transformed into an exchange of light. each touch an offering to the divine dancing through both partners. His body became not an instrument of possession, but a channel for love's highest expression. This wisdom teaches us that sacred sexuality is not about technique or control, but about presence and reverence. When two people meet in this space of conscious connection, their union becomes a bridge between worlds, a doorway through which divine love flows freely. The practice. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably with spine erect. Begin deep rhythmic breathing, imagining with each inhale that you draw energy up from the base of your spine. With each exhale, feel this energy spiral upward through your body, transmuting into pure light as it reaches your heart center. Continue this practice until you sense your entire being humming with refined spiritual energy. Your desire has become divine fire, illuminating the temple of your body with sacred purpose. Chapter 26. Manifestation through Joy. In a garden where roses bloomed without effort, Agatha stood with furrowed brow, meticulously plotting her path to love. Each morning she reviewed her manifestation checklist, scheduling precise moments for meditation and tracking her vibration like a scientist observing an experiment. Yet the more she strategized, the more mechanical her pursuit of connection became. Through divine timing, she witnessed a child chasing butterflies, squealing with delight as they danced just beyond reach. In that moment, a truth crystallized. The butterflies came closest when the child forgot she was seeking them. The universe operates through the law of emergence rather than the law of force. When you release the weight of strategy and embrace the lightness of being, you tap into love's natural rhythm. Joy is not merely an emotion, it is the native language of the soul, the frequency that most closely matches the vibration of pure creation. In the narrow streets of an ancient city, Sylvester discovered this wisdom through music. Each evening he would sit by his window and play his grandfather's violin, not to attract or achieve, but simply for the pleasure of the melody. His laughter would ring out when he missed a note, his joy in the imperfection more beautiful than technical precision. As his heart lightened, he noticed something extraordinary. Life began choreographing itself around his song. A neighbor would appear with fresh bread just as he finished playing. Letters arrived carrying opportunities, and one evening, following the sound of his violin, his beloved found her way to his doorstep. What Sylvester embodied was the forgotten truth. Joy is not the result of manifestation, it is the cause. When you vibrate at the frequency of authentic delight, you become a magnet for magical unfolding. Your laughter sends ripples through the quantum field, rearranging particles to mirror your inner light. The universe responds not to your plans, but to your play. When you approach life with wonder rather than warranty, with curiosity rather than calculation, you align with the spontaneous creativity of Source. Joy is your soul's way of telling you you're in harmony with life's deeper current. Ancient practice for embodying joy. Laugh freely today. Notice how your laughter lightens reality. Whisper, "Joy multiplies all I love." Chapter 27. Receiving Signs of Union. In a remote mountain village, a weaver named Nettie sat at her loom each day, her fingers working the threads while doubt wove its own pattern in her mind. Though she faithfully practiced raising her vibration, the path toward divine partnership seemed as misty as the morning fog that cloaked the valleys below her window. "How will I know if I'm making progress?" she would whisper to the empty room. The endless repetition of affirmations and visualizations had begun to feel mechanical, like stones dropped into a well with no sound of water below. Yet the universe speaks in whispers of synchronicity, teaching us that progress unfolds in spirals rather than straight lines. One morning, Nettie noticed 3 crimson cardinals perched outside her window, the exact number and type of birds she had dreamed about the night before. Later that day, she overheard a stranger humming the lullaby her grandmother used to sing. When she opened her journal, a pressed flower, forgotten months ago, fell from it, carrying the scent of summer love. The heart communicates through a language more ancient than words. It speaks in patterns and echoes, in moments that ripple with meaning beyond their surface. Every coincidence carries a message. Every déjà vu holds a truth, waiting to be recognized by eyes willing to see beyond the veil of ordinary perception. In a distant city, a musician named Amos began noting the symbols appearing in his dreams. He recorded images of doorways opening, bridges spanning impossible distances, and keys appearing in unexpected places. Rather than dismissing these as mere fantasy, he honored them as messages from his deeper knowing. Each morning he would sit in silence, allowing the dream symbols to speak their wisdom. One night, he dreamed of a melody he had never heard, played on an instrument he couldn't name. The next day, passing a street musician, he heard those exact notes floating on the breeze. His heart leaped in recognition, not of the song itself, but of the divine orchestration that had placed it in his path. These subtle signs serve as breadcrumbs on the path of alignment. They remind us that the universe is intimately engaged in our journey, speaking to us through a symphony of synchronized moments. When we attune our awareness to this symbolic language, what once seemed like random coincidence reveals itself as sacred correspondence. The key lies not in analyzing these signs with the mind, but in feeling their resonance in the heart. Each symbol, each synchronicity, carries a frequency that either amplifies or quiets your inner knowing. Through this sacred dialogue, the heart gradually reveals its wisdom, showing you that you are never truly lost or alone on your path. Practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, place your hand upon your heart and whisper, "Speak to me in symbols I can understand." Allow yourself to drift into slumber holding this intention. When dawn breaks, before opening your eyes or moving from your place of rest, notice the very first feeling that rises in your awareness. This initial impression, whether it comes as a color, sensation, or subtle knowing, carries the heart's response to your invitation. Record this feeling in your journal, knowing that each symbol builds a bridge between your conscious mind and the deeper wisdom of your soul. Chapter 28. Service as the Final Frequency. Long ago, in a bustling marketplace, a young woman named Stella walked past stalls filled with vibrant wares, her heart heavy with longing. Though she had diligently practiced the laws of attraction, something felt incomplete. Each morning she would recite her affirmations, visualize her ideal partnership, yet fulfillment remained elusive. The deeper truth awaits your recognition. Love's essence lies not in accumulation, but in circulation. When you grasp tightly at desire, you constrict the very flow you seek to enhance. The universal law reveals that love multiplies through movement, like a river gaining strength as it flows outward. This sacred principle manifests through service, not as self-sacrifice, but as the natural radiance of an overflowing heart. Just as the sun does not deplete itself by shining, your love grows more abundant through sharing. Each act of kindness creates ripples in the collective field, amplifying your own frequency of attraction. Consider Thaddeus, who discovered this truth through inspiration. Rather than focusing on his personal wishes, he began creating murals in forgotten corners of his city. Each brushstroke carried an intention of beauty, each color chosen to uplift spirits. Soon, others joined him, forming connections through shared creativity. The walls became gathering places where strangers became friends, where hearts opened in unexpected ways. As his art brought light to others, Thaddeus found himself surrounded by authentic relationships. He had stopped seeking love and started channeling it. Through giving, he became a natural attractor of the very connection he had once pursued. This wisdom whispers to you now. Your capacity to love expands through expression. Every smile you share, every moment of presence you offer, every kindness you extend, these are not detours from manifestation, but acceleration of it. When you shift from asking, "When will love arrive?" to "How can I embody love today?" you align with love's true nature. The universe responds to this shift in consciousness. As you release the need to receive and embrace the joy of giving, you become a living channel of divine love. This is not mere theory, but a practical path of transformation. Each act of service raises your vibration, making you magnetic to experiences that match your expanded state. Actionable practice. Choose one day to be an anonymous bearer of light. Perform an act of kindness without seeking recognition. As you do, silently repeat the mantra. Every smile multiplies light. Feel how giving freely opens new channels of receiving. Through this practice, you participate in love's eternal circle, where giving and receiving become one sacred dance. Chapter 29. Integration of twin flames in the world. In a garden filled with intertwining vines, Winnie spent countless hours tending to flowers that seemed to dance in pairs. Each morning, she would observe how the plants naturally grew toward each other, creating patterns of perfect symmetry. Yet her focus remained solely on finding her other half, until wisdom began to whisper through the rustling leaves. The universe beckons you to understand a truth both ancient and new. Twin flames emerge not merely for personal fulfillment, but as vessels of divine purpose. When two souls recognize their shared mission, they become living channels for universal love to flow into creation. This sacred partnership transcends romantic union, expressing itself through collaborative service to the greater whole. Rufus discovered this truth during his spiritual awakening. For years he yearned for completion through finding his twin flame, imagining their reunion as an end unto itself. His meditation practice centered on attracting the perfect partner until one morning, while serving meals at a local shelter, everything shifted. As he ladled soup into bowls, he felt a presence move through him, not separate, but already unified with his own essence. In that moment, he realized his twin flame energy was already active within him, waiting not for physical union, but for expression through purposeful action. The wisdom reveals itself. Twin flames are not two separate beings seeking to merge, but one consciousness choosing to create through apparent duality. Like two hands folding in prayer, they channel divine intention into manifest form. Your twin flame connection gains its deepest resonance not through seeking completion, but through allowing your shared purpose to unfold through service. Each act of creation becomes a love letter to the universe, carrying the frequency of your divine partnership. Whether painting, writing, teaching, healing, or simply sharing a smile, your creative expression bears the signature of both flames dancing as one. This is the highest form of twin flame alchemy, transforming individual longing into collective blessing. Practice. Partner with life itself in one creative act today, feeling the twin flame frequency coursing through it. Whether you plant a garden, compose a melody, or offer a helping hand, let your action flow from the space of unified purpose. Trust that your twin flame energy moves through every gesture of love you extend to the world. Chapter 30. Ascending through the heart frequency. In a quiet monastery garden, Tessie would sit each dawn watching the sun rise, questioning why love seemed to elude her grasp. Each morning she would reach outward, seeking completion in the world beyond herself. Yet as seasons turned, the ancient stones whispered a truth that would transform her understanding forever. Within the depths of your being lies the most sacred of revelations. The journey you believed would lead to another has always been a path returning you to yourself. When you cease the endless search outside and turn your gaze inward, you discover that love is not a destination but your very essence. The universal law reveals itself with stunning simplicity. What you seek has never left you. Like a wave searching for the ocean, you have always been what you desire to find. In the space between thoughts, in the silence beneath the wanting, pure love vibrates as your true nature. Harvey's story mirrors this eternal truth. After years of spiritual seeking, he found himself sitting beneath an old oak tree when suddenly all seeking fell away. In that moment, his presence became a lighthouse of tranquility. Those who passed by would pause, touched by an inexplicable peace that radiated from his very being. He had not gained anything new. He had simply remembered what was always there. What Harvey discovered, and what now opens before you, is the recognition that ascension is not about reaching some distant height. It is the gentle unfoldment of your own heart's wisdom, the embodiment of compassion that naturally flows when all resistance dissolves. This is not a teaching to be learned, but a remembering to be lived. The ancient ones spoke of this as the great return, the moment when the seeker realizes they are what was sought. In this recognition, duality dissolves, inner and outer merge in the endless ocean of love that you are. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Settle into a comfortable position and allow your attention to rest gently on your heartbeat. Feel its steady rhythm, each pulse a reminder of the eternal love flowing through you. Without trying to change anything, simply rest in calm awareness as your heartbeat becomes a gateway to the timeless. In this moment, feel how a single beat contains the infinite dance of creation. You are that love, that peace, that eternal presence. Conclusion. The path of the soul frequency key concludes where it began, in the quiet rhythm of the heart. Through these sacred teachings, you have discovered that attraction is not about seeking, but about becoming. Each breath, each practice, each moment of surrender has aligned you with the eternal truth. Love is not a destination, but a frequency you embody. When your thoughts, emotions, and spirit vibrate in perfect harmony, you become a living transmitter of divine love. This coherence naturally magnetizes all that resonates with your highest good. Your twin flame connection, your deepest aspirations, your soul's purpose, these are not distant dreams to chase, but harmonics already present in your energetic field, awaiting your alignment. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your wavelength. As you maintain the practices of gratitude, forgiveness, and unconditional love, you tune your being to the frequency of divine partnership. Each act of kindness, each moment of presence, each breath of acceptance raises your vibration closer to love's purest expression. Remember that the heart's wisdom speaks in the language of peace. When doubt arises, return to the gentle pulse within. Let your daily life become a living meditation, every mundane task an opportunity to radiate love's frequency. Your spiritual maturity is measured not in dramatic revelations, but in the quiet constancy of your soul's song. The ancient code of manifestation remains elegantly simple. What you emanate, you attract. As you walk forward from these teachings, carry this truth in your heart. You are not seeking love, you are becoming it. In this transformation lies the key to all attraction, all union, all peace. Continue to calibrate your frequency through daily practice. Let gratitude fill your mornings, compassion guide your actions, and joy light your path. For in maintaining this divine resonance, you keep the sacred heart code active, eternal, and ever guiding you home.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.